Hello, Dexia Equities L-Europe High Dividend is a fund invested in European companies offering higher dividends than the market average in the long run. So what is the potential of this fund in 2010? And above all, what is the impact of dividends in the overall performance of a fund? Frederic Buzaré of Dexia Asset Management, who has a long and proven expertise in this type of management, is here to answer our questions. Hello, Frederic, and welcome. Before we analyze your fund, let us talk about the current economic climate. As you know, the beginning of the year is much more difficult than what was expected. Did you anticipate it?
In fact, we were not sharing the consensus view, which was basically a first half of the year in positive territory, followed by a weaker second half. This is why we started the year with a defensive positioning. In fact, we were fearing the impact of a potential sovereign issue, which is unfolding actually, and we did believe also that there was too much complacency on the Chinese story in the short term.
So are you worried by this unexpected drop?
This is never pleasant, but we are not worried given that everything is moving according to our plan. We do believe that it is not about a new bear market. It's just a transition phase between two different economic regimes. Can
we compare it perhaps to the first quarter of 2009?
No, because this crisis has nothing in common with the Lehman Brothers bankruptcy. A euro member state will not go bust. It is just a question of market sentiment. You never know if a market can overshoot on the downside, or if the market are engaged in a domino set, maybe we can fall further, but we still believe that we will end up the year in positive territory.
Let us now talk about your fund. Could you briefly describe it to us?
Of course, this is a pan-European equity fund. The benchmark is the MSCI Europe Index, and we are looking at companies through the dividend angle.
What is a dividend in this context?
A dividend is probably the most effective, basic, concrete reward for a shareholder. While profits are all about accounting, a dividend is a cash payment that shareholders receive every year.
What is its role in the fund's performance?
You have two ways of making money on the stock market: capital gains or dividends. Capital gains usually are uncertain. So historically, the dividend was explaining the most of the share price performance. This is why it is crucial to watch it as a good leading indicator.
Just simply about selecting the equity funds with the largest dividends. You have other factors.
There is no free lunch on financial market, and the rule of the game is not just picking up the stocks with the highest dividends. Otherwise, a computer can do it, and it will be too simple. So you have to assess the quality of the dividend, and on top of that, maybe more importantly, try to assess the capacity of the dividend to grow in the future.
Tell us, what are your key challenges for 2010?
The challenge in 2010 is all about finding the companies which will surprise positively. Last year was the opposite. Dividends have been cut last year. This year, we do assume that companies will increase their dividends.
So, you're more confident for this year?
Yeah, more than ever. And so this is why we are working hard to find the companies which will surprise positively this year.
Let us now talk about performance. So how did the fund perform in 2009?
Last year the performance was not that bad because we gained more than 30%, and I think it's a good achievement because most of the dividend funds are usually defensive funds and underperform in the bull market. This was not our case last year.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, I hope that you now know a lot more about Dexia Equities L-Europe High Dividend and also the impact of dividends in the overall performance of a fund. Thank you for listening, and see you soon with more news.